Hello, and welcome to Essentials of Food Safety for Farm Workers, a training series brought to you by the CCE Cornell Vegetable Program. Every produce farm should implement food safety practices to ensure that produce is safe for consumers. This is Caitlin Tucker, Program Assistant for the Cornell Vegetable Program. Throughout this series, I will walk you through how to create a worker training program, foodborne pathogens of concern, routes of contamination, principles of health and hygiene, risk assessment, and so much more. This training aims to cover many of the required worker training topics set forth by FSMA, the Food Safety Modernization Act, or other third-party auditing programs. This training series primarily focuses on training farm workers in the produce industry. Because food safety is a company-wide responsibility, we invite all farm employees to participate in this training. Here are some highlights from Part 2, Food Safety and Why It Matters. Every farm worker should be trained on food safety policies and practices. Some farms may be required by law to implement food safety. Bacteria, viruses, and parasites can cause foodborne illnesses. Foodborne pathogens can harm people, hurt businesses, decrease consumer confidence, or result in legal action. Workers, animals, water, soil amendments, tools, surfaces, and equipment can all serve as sources of contamination or cross-contamination on the farm. Let's begin Part 3. Everyday practices to prevent foodborne illness. Objectives for Part 3 include: identify practices that workers can take to reduce risk of contaminating produce with foodborne pathogens. Outline the steps of proper hand washing. Identify when hands should be washed. Describe the proper way to deal with injuries, and list symptoms of foodborne illnesses. In general, farm workers should be expected to follow standards of personal health and hygiene, follow farm policies for jewelry and/or glove wearing, follow proper hand washing procedures, including knowing when to wash hands, notify their supervisor if they are ill, refrain from eating, chewing gum, or using tobacco products while working with produce, and minimize contact with animals other than working animals. Let's dive into the details. Guidelines for clothing and footwear. Employees should wear clean clothes to work each day. They should also wear clean shoes or boots. If you work with animals and produce, consider having separate sets of footwear and clothing. This can help to prevent cross-contamination. If you are required to wear gloves, change them when they become torn or contaminated. If you wear reusable gloves, they should be cleaned often. Aprons, gloves, and all personal protective equipment, such as goggles, face masks, or respirators, should always be removed before using the toilet. They should be stored in a clean, designated area when they are not in use. Guidelines on jewelry. Many people wear watches, wedding rings, bracelets, or earrings. In many work environments, these are not a concern, but on the farm, jewelry can easily trap soils as well as contaminants in the tiniest of spaces. Not only can jewelry innocently spread foodborne pathogens, but they can also be physical contaminants. For example, if the back of an earring were to fall off into a bag of lettuce. Jewelry can also pose a hazard to workers. Loose jewelry can get caught on machinery. If possible, you should avoid wearing unnecessary jewelry to the farm. If you must wear jewelry, such as your wedding ring, it should be covered with a glove when you are handling produce. Be aware that if you wear jewelry on your hands, it can cause tears in gloves or other garments. If jewelry is worn uncovered, employees should take extra care in washing around and underneath the jewelry. Guidelines on glove use. Always follow your farm's policy on glove wearing. Some farms may require their workers to wear gloves, where others may not. If you do wear gloves, inspect them prior to use to make sure they do not have holes, tears, or cracks in them. Furthermore, gloves should be clean before you use them to handle produce. Gloves should be stored in a designated clean and dry environment when not in use. Single-use gloves should not be reused. And remember to always remove your gloves before taking breaks, using the restroom, or handling trash. You should always wash your hands prior to wearing your gloves. Proper hand washing is very important. It can prevent you from catching or spreading foodborne pathogens, as well as other germs like the flu or COVID-19. Hand washing is also effective at removing harmful pesticide residues. Let's review the proper way to wash your hands. Step 1. Wet hands with water. The water can be hot or cold. Step 2. Apply soap and lather. Wash the front and backs of hands, in between your fingers and underneath your nails. Rub your hands together for at least 20 seconds. Step 3. Rinse hands thoroughly with clean water. Step 4. Dry with a paper towel. Step 5. Turn off the faucet with the used towel. Step 6. Throw the paper towel in a trash can. What about hand sanitizers? Hand sanitizers are absolutely not a substitute for hand washing. Why is that? Hand sanitizers do not get rid of 100% of germs. Your hands need to be cleaned with soap and water before the sanitizer can work. If your hands are dirty or greasy, the hand sanitizer may not be effective. And lastly, hand sanitizers might not remove harmful pesticides or other chemicals. When should you wash your hands? Before starting or returning to work. Before putting on gloves. Before and after eating and smoking. After using the toilet. After touching animals or animal waste. Or any other time hands may become dirty or contaminated. For example, when you are taking out the trash, emptying coal bins, before and after you treat a cut or wound, after blowing your nose, or after coughing or sneezing. Let's discuss the proper use of toilets. It is very important that all urination and defecation happens in the toilet and not in the field. One toilet and one hand washing facility are required for every 20 workers. The toilet and hand washing facility must be located in close proximity to each other and within a quarter mile of where you are working. Toilet paper should always be thrown away in the toilet and not in the trash can or on the floor. And remember, always wash your hands after using the toilet. What should you do when you are ill? You should absolutely not work with produce if you are sick. You can contaminate produce through coughing, sneezing, or not washing your hands after using the restroom. Symptoms of illness can include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, jaundice, abdominal cramps, or sore throat. It is important that employees be aware of how they are feeling. If you suspect you have a foodborne illness, ask your supervisor if there is another task you can work on that does not involve contact with produce. Heat exhaustion and pesticide exposure share some similar symptoms to foodborne illness. Heat exhaustion may cause you to feel faint, dizzy, have muscle cramps, headaches, nausea, or vomiting. If it is a very warm day and you have been hard at work outside, your body may be having a hard time cooling itself down. If you suspect you are experiencing heat exhaustion, it is important that you drink fluids containing electrolytes and cool yourself down. Symptoms of pesticide exposure include nausea, headache, dizziness, red or watery eyes, irritated or burning skin, throat irritation, difficulty breathing, stomach cramps, diarrhea, or vomiting. If you are feeling ill, you could be experiencing heat exhaustion or symptoms of pesticide exposure. Be aware of what you've been doing on the farm to help you determine why you may feel ill. What should you do if you are injured? Follow your farm's standard operating procedure for injuries. If the injury is severe, call 911 or have someone else call 911. If the injury is minor, locate your farm's first aid kit. For minor injuries, clean and bandage all wounds. If the wound is on the hand, a glove should be worn. This will help prevent blood, bodily fluids, or the bandage from contaminating produce while you continue working. This will also help protect you. An open wound is more exposed to harsh chemicals like sanitizers, fertilizers, or pesticides. Your wound will be protected if it is bandaged and gloved. Throw away all produce that may be contaminated from blood or bodily fluids. Clean and sanitize any items that came into contact with blood or bodily fluids. And finally, report all injuries to your supervisor and record in the injury log. It is important to have this record in case produce was contaminated and a produce recall needs to happen. What about drinking water and break areas? You should only drink potable water from the designated water source. Only use single cups. Do not share cups with other people. Do not bring glass containers to drink from. Use plastic or metal containers. Glass containers can break and shatter and contaminate produce or cause physical harm. Only refill water containers from a designated water source. Do not eat, chew gum, or use tobacco products while harvesting, washing, sorting, or packing produce. These activities should only happen in your farm's designated break area. In summary, worker health and hygiene is critical for ensuring food safety on the farm. Always follow your farm's food safety policies on clothing, footwear, jewelry, glove wearing, illness, and injuries. Follow hand washing recommendations, including when to wash your hands. Understand how injuries can contaminate produce. Do not eat, chew gum, or use tobacco products when working with produce. Thank you for watching Part 3, Everyday Practices to Prevent Foodborne Illness. If you have any questions or would like clarification or help identifying resources, do not hesitate to reach out. You can reach Extension Specialist Robert Haddad via email at rgh26@cornell.edu or by phone at 585-739-4065. You can reach Program Assistant Caitlin Tucker by email at cv275@cornell.edu or by phone at 573-544-4783. If you would like to learn more about the Cornell Vegetable Program, visit cvp.cce.cornell.edu. Up next, Part 4, Food Safety Risks on the Farm.